Look at this sweet ass lighting. Okay. Now to actually see if this is working, this sweet setup. My big bag, circly eyes. Can you do me a favor? Turn on the light behind you so I can test something? No, turn it off. Doesn't do anything. That's fine. Okay, now to see if this sounds extremely terrible. Hopefully not. You think I would have had this all ready beforehand. How are there already 3 people here? That's hilarious. Hi, welcome to the pre-production of this episode. Because we're coming in so fast and loose, I have to do this live. Oh, snap! Look at all these big, beautiful faces. Hello, hello. We're just about to get started, so enjoy looking at this very tired, rugged physique. You can tell we're in the process of moving. It's very elegant. Okay, so where did you go, my lovely? It should not be that hard to find. There we go. Now to mute myself really quick. Give me 1 second, guys. For whatever reason, it's picking up the wrong microphone, or at least I think it is. Okay, well, I'm recording this at least locally, so as long as everyone can hear me okay, we'll get started because it's already 7:30 my time and I desperately need to get started. So, apologies for the 3 minutes of garbage dead air time. We're going to get started on this live solo episode of Spencer Megami Tensei. Thank you for the feedback about being able to hear me. Peony Prinny is a great name, if not just for the peony in there. All right, so I guess we'll just get started because really, it's only me. How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 176. I'm your host, Spencer Presley, and joining me on this solo episode is my wife behind me playing Fire Emblem Warriors on my Switch, but she is not going to be talking to me today because I am the only one who is going to be on this episode talking about New Game Plus Expo, Amiibos, disappointment in the fandom, and a whole bunch of other things. So, for starters, as a lot of Atlus fans are aware of today, after the New Game Plus Expo aired, there was a lot of disappointment, but I think one of the things I'm going to try a lot with this is to be as fair with my critiques as possible, as well as at least grounded, because there were some positives today. If you were only looking for Atlus stuff or even Sega stuff, yes, today sucked. Today was a huge waste of your time. We're going to get into that. But I think it's important to start with at least a positive note. Hey, what's up, Midnight Channel? So, first one, big positive. Amiibos finally had some Amiibo news for Joker. So Joker got shown off, oddly enough, in the Min Min live stream that Sakurai did. So Oh man, Prin brings up a good point about. I'll have to not be too distracted by chat. I normally actually don't do a chat when I'm doing these live streams. So either way, Sakurai showed off the Joker amiibo this week, along with the Hero amiibo for Dragon Quest XI. But obviously, we're here to talk about Joker. Surprisingly, the Joker amiibo actually looked really, really good, and I only say surprising just because even through all these years, you know, I wonder if I move. If you can probably see, there's a lovely snake amiibo still in the box. I open all of my amiibos, but there's really no point of me opening it anytime soon. But once I have them all displayed, they will. So the Joker amiibo was shown off, and it looked really, really nice. But one of the odd things about it was I think the interesting how they incorporated his roster's position, but what's so odd is they kind of gave him Arsen's blue flame, but without the Arsen, which obviously would have made it a lot more expensive. So I appreciated the fact that they just didn't give him like the crappy little clear plastic stand that everyone looks terrible. Thankfully, no one's ever had as bad of a stand as Link did. Like OG Link with the P stand going down his leg, that was really bad. So that one looks really cool. We don't really have too much more to say other than he's coming this fall. It's going to be like $16 as is usual over here. But some positive news if you're excited about the amiibo. I know that's probably going to be like when they did Cloud of that. I think Cloud was one of the first amiibos, at least that started the wave of even if you don't care about amiibos, this whole fandom is going to just kind of get sucked into this. So Joker is definitely going to be a tough one, and important to remember if you've been out of the amiibo game for a while or weren't really too aware of it after because it's been through so many weird ups and downs. I'd say right now a lot of people think amiibos just kind of sit there rotting on the shelves, but if it's anything really worth of interest, if you don't get it within the first month or so, it's going to be a total crapshoot if you get it. So as soon as pre-orders go up, I recommend getting them. And I normally don't advise being like LaRue and ordering two for no reason, but I think this is going to be one of those safe bets of like, hey, if you buy two, you'll probably be able to make your money back pretty quickly. But or if you want to be nice like me, I'm probably going to try and buy at least three or so to do giveaways because those will be nice cheap merch to do as a giveaway. But like without being like, hey, I'm going to buy you this prize figure and have to worry about shipping it. So besides Amiibo news, I was first going to start this podcast by talking about all of New Game Plus Expo, but I think it's important to kind of take a step back and talk about the fact that New Game Plus Expo, if you're looking at like the thumbnail for this episode, that was advertised to us as including stuff from, and of course I totally blow it here. It was going to involve games from Sega, Atlus, Natsume, Idea Factory, Spike Chunsoft, Koei Tecmo, Gung Ho, PM Studios, Actili, Arc System Works, Playism, Axis Games, Inticrates, NIS America, Way Forward, SNK, and Grasshopper. And while technically over the course of this whole day, they delivered on that promise of showing games from there, I don't think the staff who was involved with planning this showcase were fully aware that, like, hey, when you're doing a show like this, you can't just like throw everything up willy nilly. Because one of the biggest things I noticed was like things from different publishers weren't really grouped together in a way that made sense. Everything sort of seemed like a shotgun approach. Like, if you told me New Game Plus Expo was going to start with Catherine Full Body and end on Ys IX, I'd be like, okay, that kind of makes sense, but wouldn't you normally want to end your big showcase with like the big game? So before we kind of break down everything and talk about how the Expo showcase was altogether, I kind of want to talk about in terms of Atlus West, because we're at this weird crossroads right now where everybody knows Scramble is being worked on. Everybody wants Scramble to get announced. Scramble has been announced, let's see, now it's been a year and 2 months from its Japanese announcement in 2019. The game has been out since February of 2020 and is already released as of like this week or last week. I think it was last week in Asian territories. So it's like just the worst kept secret that this game is happening. And what's one of the bigger problems is Atlus has all of these fans out there who are in two camps. You either know that the game is coming and just something stupid is keeping it from happening, or number two, there are those fans out there who are like, oh, well, a game normally doesn't take this long to get announced from Atlus, so it's just not happening, which is, of course, not the case, but understandably, like titles like this, especially something as large as a Persona spinoff, like what's the delay? The dancing games never had this much of a delay. The arena games never had this much of a delay. Like honestly, Atlus's old tradition used to be game gets announced in Japan, skip ahead somewhere 2 to 3 months, and it gets announced with the exact same trailer, and they just remove the, and that was their tradition. But even though they did the same thing for Royal, their whole marketing scheme for Scramble has just been so head scratchingly weird. And even from everything I've been told, and even things I've been telling people on the podcast, it's like, oh, hey, Scramble's coming. Like I've been saying Scramble's been coming since before it was out, of like, yeah, it's going to get announced in April. Okay, nothing happened. Nothing happened in May. And now, whereas we're getting closer to the end of June, and a lot of these events where Atlus had already confirmed that they were going to be at is happening, from a public's perspective, it's just getting kind of worse. And even if the game, let's say in some nightmare scenario, I still think it's coming out this fall, but even if this game, for whatever reason, due to maybe production timelines or just stuff being crazy or just wanting to avoid next gen, like skips into 2021, why not just announce it? What do you have to lose? Because I get messages and tweets by people all the time just being like, but why? Like, why is this a big deal? Why is this taking so long? Is it a Koei Tecmo thing? I forgot who asked me. I think it was. Oh man, it was probably Kuro from the Midnight Channel. If it's not, I apologize. But um, someone was asking me, and they were like, "Hey Spencer, do you think it's taking so long?" Oh no, it was Fansite. It was Skull from the Fansite. They said, "Do you think Strikers / Scramble is taking so long because Koei Tecmo is working on it?" And what's so funny is Koei Tecmo, even as a Western branch, is such a smaller company than Sega and Atlus that you would think that if they were working on it, it would probably be a long ways off. But if you look at Koei Tecmo's games, Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, Orochi, even stuff like Fairy Tail, which we're going to talk about later, those games have super close to worldwide releases as they can get. Like if they're not day and date, they're at least usually within a month of each other. So it's just it's sad that like even as like such a hardcore Atlus fan and someone who's like followed the industry for so long, I like have to look at Atlus and just be like, what are you doing? Like, why? Like, if you're in charge of all this, it makes no sense. And I've tried talking to the marketing team at Atlus, and I pretty much just get blown off. Like, I've literally shown them marketing materials that they've accidentally posted and then removed and stuff, and I've been like, hey guys, why have you just not announced this? And they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't know. So, it's frustrating. I think fans are getting to their boiling point in terms of how long they're going to wait without really something kind of special. And I don't think there's going to really be I really don't think there's going to be that kind of announcement that can follow up Scramble that fans are going to be like, "Oh, that was why it took so long." And what's really bad is it's just going to kind of make Atlus look more worse, if that makes sense. Even though I know it's very bad grammar. Hello, David Cass, and also hello everyone else I missed, Khalil and Kuki. Let's see. Kookie Chris, who would be on a charge? Hold on, who would be on? Oh, in charge of the voice acting for the game. Production wise, it's all going to be the same. Atlus. In Japan, the production split was a lot more even, whereas like production wise of like music, game assets, stuff like that, I think even voiceover recording was still handled with a lot of the usuals at Koei Tecmo. Atlus was hands on in terms of like the art and the story. Well, obviously they didn't write the story, but they were a lot more of like a supervising and producing role. And the West is doing a lot more. Honestly, Atlus West is probably doing more work than Atlus Japan had to do for Koei Tecmo, if that makes sense. Because really, Atlus Japan was a publisher. They had to make those discs happen. They had to pay Koei Tecmo. Let's see. Hey, Velvet Network says, bad day for being an Atlus fan. It's very true. Bad day for being an Atlus fan. Great day for being a fan of visual novels, let me tell you. Jacket says maybe they will have news about Scramble after the release of Catherine. See, even that, it's like, why? Like, they didn't wait for 13 Sentinels, so why wait? They didn't wait for Persona 4 Golden with Catherine, so it's pretty nebulous. Like, I don't think you could announce Scramble before, even after Catherine, and be like, oh yeah, you want to space them out. Just they're so different kind of games. Let's see. Derp Lord says P5S. What P5S? PS5. That man. The amount of times that now when I look at the letters on, like, when it's typed out of PS5 or P5S, it trips me up like every time. Yeah, 481. It is a mess, sadly. David, you bring up the surveys. We have to talk about that. I'm willing to just throw this out there right now. Somebody at Atlus can tell me I'm wrong and I will correct this later. That Atlus survey was made today. That Atlus survey was, they saw everyone watching New Game Plus Expo and they were like, oh shit. Oh shit, they thought we were going to have more than just the port of a game that's already over a year old. So yeah, I honestly think that was a emergency mode of shit. We need to find out what our fans want. Which, by the way, if you do that survey, which honestly I'm just gonna say I don't recommend that survey. That survey is really long. It feels really pointless. They ask about DLC for every game to the point of like, fuck, why would I want DLC in Super Monkey Ball? I didn't buy it on Vita. Why would I want the DLC on the PS4? So it's really, really dumb. I just really, really like cannot wrap my head around the idea of like that survey being a good test pool. Like they super specifically didn't talk about platforms, obviously due to the Japanese one, but even just other things like series representation is so out of whack. Like all of the Sega stuff they list is like, okay, Sakura Wars and Valkyria Chronicles is kind of recent, and then they listed a whole bunch of older stuff like Outrun, Puyo Puyo. I'm like, are you asking me questions for the Game Gear Mini? What do you like? What is this for? It's so out of whack. It seems so weird. It just makes no sense. The surveys, I would say, make fun of it on Twitter, move on. Like that survey is not going to help anybody. But yeah, going back into my whole thing of like, Atlus, what are you doing today? It's just like, it seems like they're flying by the seat of their pants. And what's so funny, and going back to like my criticism with 13 Sentinels with the localization, still having no idea when the localization is going to be done. Well, for the voice acting, is like we have so many questions. Like one of my biggest ones, I have two big questions of 13 Sentinels. Number one is, when do they think the dub is going to be done? Clearly, the voiceover recording has started, so they have to have some sort of internal timeline. Number two, is the game's script going to be the base for the English subtitles? If so, I kind of feel like they should have two choices, because like, as someone who has even a cursory knowledge of Japanese, it's very trippy to me if I'm playing with Japanese voices and the English dubbed voices subtitles are the only option, if that makes sense. So it's really weird, it's really odd, but like, for whatever reason, everybody at Second Atlus just don't want to talk about their games. Goes to a thing I was kind of complaining about on Twitter of like, the personality of Atlus is just gone. There's no one person I think of, and not even like a group of people, which is so funny because like, there's Sarah, there's Ari, there's Zach, there's Jonathan. There's so many people who work at marketing and PR for Atlus, but it's just like, it just seems like this giant corporate entity of like, okay, I understand all of your guys' positions. Yes, you all say that you work for PR and you guys all do marketing. I understand that. What I don't get is like, why are there so many people working at this company? And it feels like we have to yank teeth out to get anyone to talk to us. Like, it's so, so odd. Let's take a look at the chat. Kooky Chris says, I find it really weird that they thought the Catherine port is worth 30 minutes of footage. Okay, yeah, we got to talk about Atlus had their representation at New Game Plus Expo was almost like catfish levels of bad. And just to like break it down for you, their only representation for Sega and Atlus, both companies were advertised together. It wasn't Atlus only. Like they included Sega because they knew that was going to get a lot of Sonic fans watching. Which, by the way, I had no idea how excited Sonic fans were for today. But like, if you were a Persona fan or even just an Atlus fan and thought you were disappointed, look at all the Sonic fans who were like, "It's his birthday. They have to do something for his birthday." Nope, nope. Goodbye. All we're getting is the movie this year. Um, yeah, that whole thing is so odd. So we got a Catherine trailer, which I got. This all goes back to my Catherine full body on Switch argument of like Catherine full body on Switch is awesome. It's great that there's a new way to play that game, but what's so odd is like you're marketing this game for, let's see, PS3, 360, PS4, PC, now Switch. This is your fourth time marketing this game in the West for separate release. There's no trailer that could be like show off anything of real note, and it was just really odd. I mean, I'm excited for Catherine. There's no way in hell I'm buying it on launch day. If I can review it, if Atlus. See, that's the one weird thing I will say. Atlus will let me criticize them, but they at least still give me codes to review their games. So I guess they're at least open to my very small audience's criticism. So there's that for a compliment. And then going into every company had a post showcase live stream. Atlus was the third company up. And let's see. So just to set the tone, we started with Inti Creates, who actually had more news at their live stream than what was in the showcase, which was cool. Natsume showed off a brand new game, which was really, really cool. And then Atlus followed up with like, if you want to think of like the laziest thing a company could have done, it was like, yeah, we're just going to do some role play. This is like, let's say, the footage probably was needed like 2 days ago or so to get it all pre-canned ready. Ring, 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 ring. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. I need you to stop testing Scramble. Yeah, I know it's almost done. I know we haven't. Listen, Jeremy. I need you to dust off the port of Catherine. Yeah, the one that's been done for like months. Um, just pick any day, load up a save file. Can you get us like how much time do you need? Can you just give us like 30 minutes of B-roll? Yeah, just play whatever. Arrange mode, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Just don't show off Ren. Doesn't matter. No, why would we need your commentary? I just need your B-roll. What do you mean? What's this for? Just give me some B-roll. We're just gonna put it online. It's no big deal. No one's gonna care. All right, thanks, Jeremy. Like that's what that whole conversation was gonna be. Like it was just like I cared more watching that stream than the guy who recorded it probably cared about it, which is sad. Shout out to whoever the Jeremy was who playing it, because just imagine like even if it was like me, and if I was like if I was like a tester, um, I'd be like, oh dude, I'm so excited. I have like footage of me playing Catherine. It's gonna go online. No one cared. Um, actually, I should even go to what Atlus is. Their promotions for today was really, really weird. Oh, good news, guys! They promoted everyone, reminding us that 13 Sentinels is coming out. Just guys. So yeah, they talked about that new Catherine trailer and did not promote the live stream at all. It was very odd. But yeah, so that whole segment was just really, really weird and really, really unneeded. It's funny because you see the Catherine full body trailer that they started the show with, and you're like, okay, they'd have to try really hard to do worse than this. So the live stream had some hope, especially for people who were like, oh, hey, what if they just show off Scramble in this live stream, like show off a demo? Kind of makes sense. It'd be weird not to throw a trailer on first, but hey, this is New Game Plus's first show. Who really knows? There's no rhyme or reason. So that did not happen. Um, and they just showed a full-on Let's Play with no commentary, and the chat and everybody online just hated it, rightfully so. Like, there is no real argument you can say for what they showed on their live stream segment as like, good job marketing, you did it. It's like yeah, okay, you get what you get, I guess. So all in all, today was just such a weird day to be an Atlus fan. It was weird that they didn't use this as an excuse to show Scramble. Clearly, if Scramble was there, that would have been the biggest game, which is not even a negative, really, to New Game Plus Expo. I actually liked a lot of the titles that were announced, even though I'm probably only going to pick up a handful. The variety of titles were really, really impressive through the publishers, but I guess we'll kind of move on to going throughout the whole show as a whole and everything kind of like that, and we'll end with everybody's kind of reception or kind of feedback once the whole show was done. Because I know, like, I don't know like how everyone else feels, but for me, as I was watching this live stream at work, the whole time I was just like, okay, there'll be something that gets me like out of my chair hyped. And I had like one moment for it, and I'll talk about it. Like, I think it was like around the midway point. But so once the Catherine Full Body trailer started, the show really gets started. By the way, shout out to Sean Chiplock, who was the narrator for it. So nice to actually see somebody I knew who was the narrator for the whole thing. So after, I don't even need to pull it. I don't even need to pull it up. I know what happened after Scramble. What was probably going to be the biggest game of the show there had the weirdest showing. Suda51 came out on Zoom with his 240p webcam. I'm clearly one to be able to tell about that. But they had Suda51 talking about what's going on in the world right now. And what's so odd is they had, and I don't know if this was on purpose, but gameplay behind him as a Zoom background. And like, in a way that's ingenious, because it lets the user who's excited be like, oh, what kind of gameplay is that? Because it was clearly a boss fight. It was showing off gameplay, but you had no idea the rhyme or reason for anything. So the problem with that is, after showing Travis touchdown right off when Suda says bye and starts the show, that's it. And while that's really funny from being a meme, it's like just so odd to me how they were like, yeah, hey, how much no more Heroes footage can we give? And like, they actually had quite a lot. They just, I guess, didn't really want to show it. I will always say this, as someone like me, I'm personally a little skeptical that No More Heroes 3 comes out this year. The game looks a lot more farther along than I would probably give credit to. It's kind of like last year when they announced Deadly Premonitions 2 is coming out this year. And I was like, depends. They didn't really show a lot. And then now, like, less than a month or just about a month before Deadly Premonitions 2 comes out, they've just been showing tons and tons and tons of stuff for it. So Japanese game devs just really good at quietly pumping out their stuff. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like really thirsty right now. All right, so after No More Heroes 3, the show ended up then going into a really weird one. I'm not even really going to give this a lot of attention. What was the name of this? Oh my god. This one had a weird one. Ten and Kuna. Indie game by Axis. Looks okay. It was fine. Like, it was. I'm so in the middle. That's really all I can say about it. So following up after that, we had, I guess, what was the only bit of show from Actil Media, and this one was really weird. Of Billion Road had a trailer to show off an online mode, but to my knowledge, it's already been out on Switch and PC. This was just to announce the mode on Steam only, and the fact that it was like 40% off discount. I think specifically on Steam, maybe Switch as well. But yeah, if you like, I guess, kind of party board game type games like that, Billion Road. That was like after Catherine, and I saw Billion Road next, and it was like the announcement was on mode, and then it was on sale. I was like, oh no, this game's gonna have, like, this showcase has really high highs and really low lows. Next up, thankfully, was a really, really high, and that was Playism came out and announced, well, not announced, but they had a release date for Fight Crab. So Fight Crab, oh man, my copy is hidden. I'd pull this out right now if I could. Is by the makers of Ace of Seafood, and it's basically think about that video that was viral a couple years ago of the crab holding a knife. A bunch of Japanese devs saw that and said, "What if we made the world's what if we made the world's most accurate and anime battle simulator with these crabs?" And it's awesome. It's coming out on July 30th on PC and is also coming out later on Switch. It might even be the month after that or so. But Fight Crab, it's been in early access for a while, but just looks super crazy, super fun. Awesome, awesome developer. If you want to check out their other game called Ace of Seafood, it's on PS4 and PC that I know of. Super, super excited for that one. Next up, by the way, shout out to like the company who kept popping up today. SNK came out swinging with the weirdest announcement. SNK came out and announced the final character in season two, in the season two of oh my god, Samurai Showdown, the new one. Their final character was a crazy guest character crossing over, and it was Warden from For Honor, the Ubisoft fighting game. And like, at least not that I've seen, that is such a great crossover of like no one expected it. It was like a Negan moment or like a Noctis and Tekken of like when those crossover characters got announced, it's so out of left field that everyone is just like, oh yeah, let's fucking go. Even if you're not ever planning on playing it, it's just so crazy. It fits so well. The attention to detail that went into making this medieval knight, even though he speaks Japanese, happen. It was just so cool. And if anything, is just another reminder to me that like, oh my god, I need to play Sam Show. I just have been so behind on my fighting games. Next up, something I'm a little less passionate about, but I know is important to a lot of people. Spike Chunsoft showed off. Oh, this one has a great title. ReZero starting in another world. Sorry, ReZero starting life in another world. The prophecy of the throne. This had been announced maybe I think last week for pre-orders up earlier. It's coming to PC, PS4, and Switch. Basically, is your regular kind of visual novel stuff like that. I'm not super familiar with the anime, but if you're into that, it's just like a hey, it's a win for anime. Derplord says, speaking of faces of companies, are you going to talk about that one guy that's no longer running the Sonic? Aaron leaving the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter. Obviously, it doesn't super affect SMT related stuff or even really Atlus, but if anything, it makes me more worried that Atlus and now Sega is going to kind of suffer from a lack of a personality. But at the same time, Sega is very acutely aware of the fact that their brand of Sonic on Twitter is kind of has a reputation to keep up, and it wasn't a one man show of everything that's going on. So I'd say it's going to be fine, but there will probably be some sort of noticeable difference. I don't know why I'm so thirsty. So our next piece of news was one I'm not sure if a lot of people were that excited for, but like secretly gets like my best of show award or one of best of shows award. So coming from NIS as a publisher, but by Yum Yum Games, we've got oh we got we need to get the exact one. It is Fallen Legion Revenants. So Fallen Legion is this really, really, really awesome, beautiful JRPG that started life as a Vita series as well as a PS4 game. The Vita game came over to PS4. Both got compiled onto a Switch one, I think 2 years ago or so. And now this new one called Revenants got announced for PC, sorry, just for PS4 and Switch, and I'm really really excited. The game looks great. The voice acting seems awesome. The art style is great. The music they do is really really fun. I like the battle system a whole heck of a lot, and I think having NIS as a publisher for that title is just like it's a super awesome game. It's great that they have a publisher. It's great that they're getting money. Super super underrated indie dev team. Next up, we have New Game Plus Expo. So, New Game Plus Expo. Sorry, why am I reading it like this? My brain's really, really fried right now. Next up, we have another game from SNK. This one was weird. This one's like, I want to be excited for you, but at the same time, you needed to give a little more or a little more clarity. So SNK announced 3 Neo Geo Pocket Color games being directly ported to the Switch, and they just showed gameplay and then didn't really do much else. So right now you can play, oh my god, which one is out? I think it is, yeah, King of Fighters Round 2 is out right now. Oh, I'm sorry. SNK Gals is out now. It's like $8 or so. And then coming this summer is Samurai Showdown 2 and King of Fighters Round 2. And these are both really, really solid. Like all 3 of them are really, really great, like little portable fighting games. But it was just announced as Neo Geo Pocket Color Selections, which is not like a title. It's not a compilation. This is a brand, kind of like Sega Ages. So a cool announcement, probably needed a little bit more clarity. Also, that trailer is just nothing but footage, like no text, no real detail or anything. So if you don't know what it is, like me at the time, it's really, really confusing. We have this from Golden Playhouse. He says, I hate that the full Atlus part was just Catherine and no Shin Megami Tensei, no Persona. Definitely agree on that one. And that's coming from a longtime Catherine lover. Golden Playhouse, which, by the way, apt name. Do you think that us PS4 owners can get SMT4 and SMT3 on PS4? 4, 100% no. 3 is a little bit of a weird one. If Sony hadn't given up support for PlayStation 2 classics on PS4 and were as open to having publishers do it like they were in PS3, I would say yes. But at this point, like this late into the generation, I would say there's really no financial gain by Sony at all, sadly. So we would just kind of have to wait and see or hope for some sort of compilation. But everything is so up in the air. I would say don't expect it anytime soon. Ooh, sorry to go steal a drink. It's not even mine now. So next up, we have another game by NIS getting announced. And by the way, NIS just was killing it with news. So we had a new trailer for Trails of Cold Steel 4. Trails of Cold Steel, I started the first one. I own the second one. I don't have 3, but I just hear nothing but great things. Just going to say, trailer looked great. Coming this fall to PS4 and then early 2021 on PC and Switch. Look at all you guys with your things. Khalil says SMT re-release on Switch to build hype. That one is a lot more likely, especially with stuff like 5 kind of building up, and if they want to space it out and give them some room. A compilation on Switch would be a lot more doable. And even getting something like Nocturne on Switch wouldn't be that hard for Atlus to really do. Timmy Tom says Catherine has fully become the Resi 4 of Atlus. No, not true. I think we still have more ports of Shin Megami Tensei 1, probably. But in terms of the modern version of Atlus, that's definitely true, which is like good for Atlus. Sorry, which is good for Catherine fans, but I don't think it's ever really related to sales success. Catherine Full Body even didn't blow up sales, hence why it's coming to Switch so fast. Dirtblood says the only fandoms that came out of NGPX with a W was the fighting game community and the Otome community. That is very, very true. Peeny Prinny says Digital Devil Story for Switch. Yeah, that's actually coming out in Japan, I guess October. So Namco is doing their little Namcot collection, which was a compilation of all their Famicom ports, and M2 is doing a DLC pack later in the fall. This is Japan only for Digital Devil Story, and I'm interested to see because that's like one of the first ports we've had of that game in like I think almost 2 or 3 decades. But at the same time, not 3 decades, definitely like, well, no, I forget it's 2020. It's really weird. But yeah, it's been a really, really long time since we've seen it. So I'll be curious about it, but I think that's such a niche market, especially like because it's not going to be on the physical version of Namcot Collection and it's something you're going to have to download. It's going to make it a lot less enticing for collectors to check out. Next up in the showcase, what did we have? Next up was our first game by Idea Factory. So Idea Factory decided to show off Death End Request 2. It's a sequel. I don't really follow that much Idea Factory stuff anymore, but it looked fine. It is a RPG and is a sequel, so if you want to check it out, it's coming this August to PS4 and Steam. And next up was a really, really weird one of I'm excited for this. Playism announced Idle Manager coming to PC, Mac, and Linux in 2020. Basically, think game dev story mixed with idle life sim management, but like realistic idle management. And I'm excited by the idea, but I'm kind of disappointed there's not like a port announced. But usually the way Playism works is they will handle PC stuff and then license out, or the developers will license out with other publishers to get ports made. So hopefully that's successful enough, but trailer looks really, really cool. Can't recommend it enough. Okay. um, Probably safe to say biggest troll of the show, unless you were an Atlus fan, was the Danganronpa 10-year anniversary trailer. So we gotta just talk about this, guys. Spike Chunsoft has been celebrating Danganronpa turning 10 for half a year now, and all they've had to show for it is multiple trailers announcing nothing. And they even brought out the like they even brought out like the series like creator who's not even like he doesn't even work with Spike Chunsoft anymore. But like they brought out Kodaka basically just to be like hoo 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 and not announce anything. And what's so funny is like they make it look like they announced Danganronpa 1 on mobile is out. But like this was so weird. Danganronpa 1 on mobile got shadow dropped like a month ago. Already isn't that exciting because guess what? Danganronpa is on PS4, PC, PSP. So there's already a bajillion ways. Like when I was watching that trailer, I was like, oh, they're clearly going to finally announce the Switch port of the Danganronpa trilogy. Nope, didn't even do that. So as someone who doesn't really want there to be a Danganronpa 4. I'd say if there had to be something new with Danganronpa, do like a crazy spinoff. And I think like in our Discord we've talked about stuff like if you have to do a new Danganronpa, do something weird like an Ultra Despair Girls 2 or something all the way out of there. So yeah, huge waste of everybody's time. Announced a terrible mobile port that has been done forever. It's been out for over a month in America. It's just a port of other versions with a gallery mode. Like it's such an L. Like I can't even laugh at it enough. All right. Sorry for the drink break. It's really weird. When I'm doing podcasts, I don't ever feel this thirsty usually, but for whatever reason, maybe it's like the summer. All right. So our next announcement is our first, I think it's our first Otome game. Ultra Despair Girls do wear buzz. Very true. Yeah, so another Otome game got announced by Idea Factory and Axis. This one is called, oh my god, Cafe Enchante. By the way, if you guys aren't aware, Otome games are basically you are a woman, you have multiple male love interests, and usually pick a story and kind of wrap it around you dating some, all, or none of the men in tragic fashion. Art looks fine, but I'm kind of weird in the sense of like once visual novels and even Otome games moved away from the Vita, I didn't really follow them to Switch. So if you're excited about those kind of Otome games right now, it is only announced as coming fall to Switch. Next up, we have uh technically Escape from Masura got announced. That was like if you blink you missed it and was kind of like okay, cool, I guess. But this one I was very excited about. The next announcement was awesome. Hold on, we got another question. Question, Spencer, what do you think about Crash Bandicoot 4? Oh my god, I'm so excited about Crash Bandicoot 4. I love Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. That trailer was so good. Just thinking about it now pleases me so much. Scramble can get announced next week. I'm cool with it. Huge Crash Bandicoot fan. Love all things Naughty Dog. Love Crash Bandicoot. Insane Trilogy was great. Little nervous that it's Toys for Bob, but Honestly, my only real experience with them has been their Crash Bandicoot level in Skylanders Imaginators, which was fine. But that trailer just showed me nothing but good stuff, so I was very, very excited about Crash Bandicoot 4. Cannot recommend that trailer enough. October 2nd, let's go. Um, kind of scared it won't be Wrath of Cortex again. It's a weird thing to be scared about. I mean, I'm somewhat nostalgic for Wrath of Cortex, but I think I trust him to kind of do some of the good and bad for it. I'm sure there will be many a jokes at Crunch's expense. But our next announcement was so unexpected, like my brain couldn't like process it. We had the announcement of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, baby. Holy crap. So I'm really weird in terms of my love of Bloodstained. I have not played Ritual of the Night. I've only played Curse of the Moon, which is the 8-bit kind of spin-off game. But man, I was super late to the party because I waited for the physical version. But I fell in love with it so much. The trailer looks awesome. Uh, Bringing back Zangetsu, you get to play as. There's a girl with an awesome spear. There's a sniper. There's a corgi driving a mech. Doesn't matter. You won the show, NT Creates. There you go. Stamp of approval number 2. That trailer was so great. Cannot wait for Curse of the Moon 2. So good. All right, our next announcement was kind of an announcement, but kind of not really. Guilty Gear Strive showed off gameplay that was pretty polished in terms of visuals and presentation. Just the voice acting wasn't there. Looked great. I'm kind of taking this sideline of like with Strive, I'm excited, but I'm not really gonna follow it. So Strive keeps looking solid. Cannot wait. Kooky Chris, we're going back to Crash Bandicoot, which I'm very fine with. What scares me about Toys for Bob is that the Reignited trilogy wasn't that long ago. I don't want Crash 4 to be rushed. That's a great question for sure, especially because development for development for Spyro trilogy was definitely like down to the wire, hence why you had to download 2 to the 3 games. Next up thing that got announced though, yeah, because like Guilty Gear, hype, can't wait for it. But yeah, that's really all I can say about it. Our first huge RPG of the show, and I hope a lot of people aren't sleeping on this, is Fairy Tail got shown up by Koei Tecmo. So Fairy Tail is this anime that I've always been on an outside aware of. I was a huge fan of Rune Master, which is by the same author, but I never really got into Fairy Tail, which is way, way, way more. I think it said Rune Factory, Rune Master. So this was Fairy Tail is very, very popular, but has never had a console game until now. So this is a full-on RPG by Gust, the maker who do like Atelier and stuff like that. Looks great. The visuals are insane. The game's been delayed a couple of times due to all the stuff like going on with like the pandemic, but they have a solid date now. The game's pretty much done. They just need to produce the disc, and like game looks awesome, has official story, the voice acting looks great. Like it's pretty much ticking all of my boxes for stuff that I'm excited about, and I'm not even a Fairy Tail fan, so probably not an instant pickup for me unless July ends up being really quiet, and even so I'm going to be playing Ghost of Tsushima, so definitely one I'm going to keep an eye on, but we'll probably end up picking up on like a quieter part of the year. But if you are even a fan of RPGs in general, check out Fairy Tail. Speaking of, Golden Playhouse says, I never got into Fairy Tail. I was watching Death Note. Khalil says, Fairy Note looks weird with the story screenshots, but they look like Dynasty Warriors with the map disposition. That is true. There were shots of the gameplay that kind of make Fairy Tail look like a Muso game, but no, it is an RPG. I thought that was a little odd with the trailer. Oh my god. I'm just stealing my girlfriend's entire drink by the end of this episode. Hold on. Woo! So this is a rough live one. We're only 50 minutes into this bad boy. Here we go. Oh, by the way, Fairy Tail is coming out July 31st on PS4, Switch, and PC. Next up was a weird one. This was kind of another down note. More news by SNK. The Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection, which released earlier this month on PC, was free on Epic Game Store, is releasing. It's releasing next month on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. But they wanted to show off this trailer to remind you that hey, this game is a thing, even though it's already out, and that Limited Run Games is doing a collector's edition of it. Um, as a big SNK fan, I'm excited about this, but for whatever reason, I don't know if like I've been getting so much SNK that like I saw this box and it's like okay, it has the game in a shock box, copy on Switch or PS4, no Xbox version, 2-disc CD, art book, and little Neo Geo non-functioning plastic cart. It looks cool, but I was just kind of surprised of like it didn't like super ring me in. So who knows if I'm actually going to order it or not? But at the very least, that collection it's been pretty solid. Has great netcode from everything I've heard. Next announcement we have another Idea Factory but Axis Games published Otome visual novel. This one is Picafore Faded Memories. Going again. Hey, if it's Otome, check it out, but it's only on Switch, so there you go. Next one, I kind of want to have a conversation with you guys for this, but okay. Idea Factory showed off gameplay for Hyperdimension Neptunia Virtual Stars. And I was watching this and I was like, okay, clearly this is the next game by the part of the team who did the Four Goddesses Online. But like I don't know what happened with Neptunia, but once they moved off of Vita and PC, I just can't seem to care. It's really odd. Like I played V2R. I played V2. I didn't play V2R. I've missed so many of the games. Like the last one I was really excited about was Sega Hard Girls. I played all the spin-offs before then. I loved Producing Perfection. I loved Noir. I loved Action Unleashed. But like I just look at the series now and I don't have any FOMO at all. It's really weird. Are we not going to talk about the Crab PC fighting game? No, that was earlier. You missed it. We were very excited about Crab Fight. Do not worry, Golden Playhouse. Khalil says if you're an Axis fan, this is a great show. I'd say if you're an Axis fan, SNK fan, or a NIS America fan, this is a great show. Just don't be just don't be a Danganronpa or Persona or a Sonic fan, apparently. So yeah, Neptunia, a series I really hold a lot of nostalgia for just from the Vita days, but I just can't seem to hold my attention for now. So I'm not sure if I'm the only one like that, but either way, coming to PS4 and probably PC in 2021. Oh, this one gonna have a lot of people excited. We have Axis Games announced Pretty Princess Party coming to Switch this fall 2020. Listen, it's called Pretty Princess Party. You don't need to know more. You're either into that or you're out. That's the whole story. Next up, we have another announcement by Spike Chunsoft. This one was kind of a weird one. They announced very late, but they are bringing Shiren the Wanderer, I think it was 5, the Vita exclusive one, to PC and Switch later in 2020. So Shiren the Wanderer, if you're not aware of it, is one of the original Mystery Dungeon games and is really awesome. And as someone who played the hell out of that Vita port, is an awesome game. But like, this kind of goes back to the Catherine thing of like, I have my Vita copy, so it's like I'm gonna recommend it to people on Switch and PC only, but it doesn't really do a lot for me outside of the fact of me saying, "Oh, hey, I would like to." I'm like, "Hey, I need to go back and play my Vita copy." Next up, and oh god, was this the last in the show? Yes, I think this was before we got into the big ones. But unless I'm missing something, NGPX ended the show with Prinny. No, Prinny Reload 1 and 2 is coming out on Switch this fall. It's not out yet. I'm sure it has an exact date, but Either way, NIS wrapped up the whole show by finally announcing officially that Ys IX Monstrum, God, Monstrum Nox is coming out to PS4, Switch, PC. I think it just says, yeah, early 2021. So excited about that as a big Ys fan. Ys 8 is awesome. Cannot recommend Ys 8 enough. I know the Switch and PC ports were a little wonky, but if you can play that on Vita or PS4, cannot recommend it enough. The Ys games are awesome, awesome, awesome. Ys, I think it's the remake of 4, Memories of Celceta, just came out on PS4. That was a remake of the Vita one, which is also a remake of the original one, but either way. Golden Playhouse commenting says, I wish Atlus revealed more than just a port of Catherine. See, it's not even that they revealed it, it's that they showed it off for like the 5th time, revealed it. So that's kind of the sad part. Kooky Chris, I'm glad there's another lover of Ys out there. Lee said, I love 7 and 8, but I thought the Switch port wasn't successful. Yeah, the Switch port was pretty underwhelming in terms of everything all considered, but I think that was kind of chalked up to bad timing as well as probably higher expectations than were realistic. But I know that Vita and PS4 versions did pretty well, and I'm sure PC did better than most because I know Falcom fans are very, very hardcore about their PC ports. Final little shout out I want to give to the live stream to friends of the show. PN Studios announced a whole crap ton of games, and weirdly enough, NGPX did not actually talk about it. So we're going to go over to PN Studios, look at their page. Did they have a quick announcement? They announced they were doing some physical versions of the Friends of Ringo Ishikawa, where the water tastes like wine on PS4 and Switch. These are going to be distributed through Limited Run. They announced Iris Fall, Alchemic Cutie coming to Switch, Metal Revolution, Ever Forward, and I think probably some other games. But yeah, all their stuff looked great. They basically, their live stream was like a PM Studios Direct, and I was very, very all for it. Hello, Kaito. Don't worry about waking up. The joy of YouTube live streams, you can just skip all the way back. So that was New Game Plus Expo. I think for a first showing, it was fine with a capital F. And if I had to give it a letter grade score like we're in class, I think it's safe to say it earned a C, like a solid C, not a C minus, not a C plus, right down the middle. And my reasonings for that is they showed a lot of stuff, but like I feel like there were so many caveats of like, oh, it's a game that's coming out again on another platform, or oh, they just showed off a game that's already out, or they just showed off a trailer that didn't announce anything. They showed off Suda on a Zoom call. They showed off a Catherine trailer for no reason. It was very weird. It felt messy. You could definitely tell they're going through their growing pains. In terms of the presentation, like the graphics and the way everything looked, I thought it was fine. But yeah, in terms of a lot, I think the way they went about promoting it also docks them a couple of letter grades, mainly due to the fact that like they had they had so many people looking forward to things, but like we said, Atlus fans, Sonic fans, even like just other things of like, yeah, Gung Ho announced some stuff like through a like through a sizzle reel, but that was about it. Like, so they literally just like drew as many people as they could possible to their live stream without really kind of having enough stuff to back it up. Because like, hey, guess what? If you're a Way Forward fan, nothing new was announced by Way Forward. There's a Shantae sale. There's nothing new. So it's like, cool, you got Way Forward, but is it worth putting their name on there to advertise it if they're not doing anything really? So kind of a bummer. So highlights though, Fallen Legion and Curse the Moon 2, easy standouts, along with Ys IX. Ys IX, cannot wait for. Kooky Chris agrees with me as well, saying if Bloodstained and Ys were not part of the stream, would have been very disappointed. Cannot agree enough. So, see, Derplord says you get a C. It's hold on. You get a C. It's clear you were using the Nintendo Direct as a hard reference. Very, very true. But you tried your best. Come back next year and show us something better. Yes, Kooky Chris also forgetting Way Forward. before we wrap up this episode, we're going to go to Twitter and check out what the internet thought of when we asked for some new Game Plus Expo impressions. Let's see here. Had some hold off fans and stuff. Ultimax fan says, "Did you know they're bringing Catherine full body to Switch? What?" Cooley High alum says, "Damn." Oh, sorry. There's a little post for it. Let's see. Fusion AJ93 says, "Guilty Gear Strive." Other than that, bullshit was not blazing. P5S talk, P5S talk, Smash talk. RPG Fiend says, "Disappointed, not surprised." People asking me where Scramble is. Let's see. Daxian Games says, "I love it. It's a weak version of E3, and I like it a lot. Put it in a list and looking forward tonight." I'm guessing it means for the podcast, so thank you. Alex at Grizzly X Bear says, "Why port Catherine to Switch if they were going to port full body?" I guess he might have forgotten about that. Is Sig and Atlus just showcasing half an hour of the thing for it? More people talking about the announcement and asking where Scramble is. So that was for Twitter, and then we're going to check Facebook and go to the Discord and then wrap this up so I can get this episode out. So, by the way, if while I'm pulling this up, if you guys have any questions, just throw them in the chat, so let me know. Kaito says it's a 3 out of 10 for him. Going into the SMTN group to get some questions so my throat doesn't die. By the way, for anyone who is curious, the audio version of this podcast, which should have better sounding audio, is going to go up live once this is done. I'm recording this locally as well, in case you missed that. Okay, scrolling past Naruto boobs, tarot cards. Oh my god. There we go. Nope, wrong one. I post too much. Oh my god. I really do. There we go. All right, so our takeaways from the Facebook group. This is before it starts. Guessing that Scrabble's going to be there. Guessing correctly about that. Here we go. Francis Garcia says, "What the fuck? 30 minutes of Catherine gameplay? What the fuck?" Laughing hysterically. Tyler Omega says, "Are you excited for Catherine the Royal on Switch? We hope so, because we ain't showing shit else." God damn it, Atlus. That's a good comment. Alex says, "This guy's not even that good at Catherine." Matthew Peterson says, "Still excited for full body. Good for you. You get a care react for that one." Laurentio Boyd, totally butchered that, but sorry, says, "It was boring to watch, especially since the template from the original release was the same. The viewer base dropped by 10K. Showing off some good stuff here. Stephen Yip says, "Atlus disappointed again. It's like they don't even want our money. We want Scramble. We want SMT5. We want Persona 4 Golden on PC. We want Persona 3, any version on PC. We want all the SMT and Persona games on as many systems as possible." Yeah, so that is it for Facebook. And then checking the Discord before I go to chat to make sure I didn't miss anything too bad. Talking about criminal girls, as is the case. Immortal Slasher says, "Do you think the Golden Port was a way to keep us distracted by the lack of Scramble news?" That is a great question. No, I don't, because that would involve them having too much planning ahead to have that happen. So I would give them the benefit of the doubt and say no, but that's a great tinfoil hat theory. Jump. Hold on, making sure I don't have anything else too bad. We went over positives about that. People hyped about Trails of Cold Steel 4. Kodaka says that hold on. Kodaka says they have more to show for the 10-year anniversary. Do you think we'll see a new game? That is from Infinity and Beyond. I'm gonna say, honestly, no. This is gonna be like the year of despair. They're gonna have a whole year of Luigi anniversary, and they're just gonna not actually announce anything. It's the most Danganronpa move possible. I think that's about it. Yeah, what's sad is like I was expecting a lot more user reactions to it, but like you're either mad or you're laughing about it sucking, so you don't really have a lot of different takes to really take. So we'll clear up the live chat here and then probably end it up. Oh man, especially good because I'm like running out of stuff to drink. All right, final stuff. Let's see. I have a question for you. This is from Golden Playhouse. Do you think it's stupid how many people make fun of others because they want Persona on Switch? I don't think it's stupid that people make fun of others for asking about it. I think it's fine because I think if you want to make fun of people for port begging, I think there's a lot of people who just do it to a point of like, hey, listen, if you're going to post in every, like if you're going to be that Goomba guy on Twitter and you're going to post that Persona thing every time, if you're going to be seriously using break free Persona and mad if people don't agree with you, yeah, we're going to make fun of you. I don't have a lot of sympathy. But obviously, like Steven said earlier, put the games on as many systems as possible, dum dum. Just if you're not going to do it, don't do it. Whatever. There's no point in wasting air for it. Kooky Chris says, I really hope they come back next year. I really love the idea of a Nintendo Direct focused on Japanese games. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things is like, even though like I may not have been excited for Pretty Princess Party or a bunch of Otoe games, I was glad to see these things. They usually don't really have that big of a showcase, especially at E3. So the idea of this was really, really great. Kaito says, wasted my time on sleep. I felt very, very bad. We had someone in our Discord saying they had called in late for work for this, and that was one where I was like, oh man. Drip Lord says, now we gotta wait to be disappointed by Game Freak tomorrow. Yeah, glad I'm not a Pokemon fan. At least you have Digimon Survive to look forward to. Thank God Digimon games are still good. All right, so Khalil's talking about Ys IX and Curse the Moon being all he cared about. And our final questions are by Golden Playhouse, who says, do you miss the days of Persona 1, 2, and 3? Um, I, I would say no in terms of like, if I want to talk to people about Persona 1, 2, or even 3, I feel like nowadays I have a easier way to do it more so because as a fan who started with Revelations in the 90s, it was a very solitary experience. There wasn't a lot of other fans that grew up near me in Arizona with that. So I would say I'm fine with it as the way it is personally, but I know that's not to everyone's taking. Golden Playhouse was also saying, I miss the days of Persona 1, 2, and 3 because those were the good old days of Atlus. That is true. In terms of them as a company, I can understand not being a huge fan of how their development process goes. So definitely makes sense. But yeah, that is about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode live. I cannot believe we actually kept a solid almost 20 of you for their whole hour. Thank you for listening to me just gabbing at you. I hope it was not too boring. If you would like, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Torchwood4SP. You can follow the podcast, Shin Megami Tensei Network, at SMT Network. You can find us on this YouTube page if you're watching us live by searching Spencer Presley or Shin Megami Tensei Network. Do episodes every week. Trying to think of other stuff. You can join our Facebook group by going to facebook.com/groups/SMT Network. And you can also join our Facebook page by, I think it's just going to facebook.com/SMT Network, but all the show links will be in below, similar with Discord. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I know today may have been disappointing for a lot of Atlus fans, but at the very least, I think it's important for us to voice that criticism in a way that's fair and hopefully directed towards Atlus in a way that leads to positive change. But at the very least, don't give up hope. Scramble is coming. You can only hope sooner than later. They're just going to wake up one day and just be like, hey guys, we messed up. I'm sorry it wasn't there yesterday. We're just going to announce it on a random Thursday morning, and then Spencer can say haha or whatever. So either way, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching this live. If you were actually in the chat watching this live, interacting, I had a lot of fun with you all. If you guys would like more live episodes like this, let me know what you think. I'm definitely down to even just hang out and just do live chats and stuff like this. So have a whole bunch, and I will be reading the comments of today because I can't do this during the outro, so it's like super duper more unprofessional. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for subscribing to this channel, and have a good rest of your night. I'm going to drink this all. Oh my god, I'm so thirsty. Whew. I mean, having fun with you guys in chat is an upside. That is very true. Thank you, Derp Lord. I can't wait to wait. That's a great one, Velvet Network. That's a very great point. All right. See you, everybody. See you, Derp Lord. See you, Golden Playhouse. See you, Kooky Chris. See you, Velvet Network. See you, Cat. It'll happen in the stupidest way possible. It's very true. They will announce Persona 5 Scramble in a 4-night event, but only if you play as Aquaman. All right, everybody. See you all later. We'll see if we can get my girlfriend to say goodbye as the outro. Baby, we're done. We're done. Don't look. You gotta say bye. No, you have to say bye. No, like loud. No, you have to say it loudly. Should I tilt the camera down so I can see you? Is it because you're wearing like a big fancy dress? Yeah, that counts. All right, bye. That was